Brown, who did sneak in on that 5th place on semifinal number 2. So 2 ducks into the final. It should be a wild one on Friday, the way these guys ran this semifinal. Next event on the track, the men's 3000-meter steeplechase. We will have 2 heats, same as the 1500. The first 5 across the line will be automatically qualified through to Friday's final. This heat is featuring Ryan Smeaton of Oklahoma State, who we will identify for you. He the runner-up from 2 years ago, highest returner. And then Keegan Chamati of Middle Tennessee, the senior for the Blue Raiders.
Also returning from 2019, he was your 3rd place finisher. He was your Eastern Regional top qualifier.
Virginia Tech, the Big Sky champion from Montana State, Duncan Hamilton.
When you look at the different regions from a qualifying standpoint, it took 8:45 in the East region to qualify for this race and 8:42 in the Western region. So the regions were very equal, but I tell you what, Dwight, I can't get over looking at that records. Those records by Henry Rono, 8:12 and 8:05. 8:12 for the meet record, 8:05 for the national record. That is just absurd.
And that 8:05 was running a dual meet way back in the day. Duncan Hamilton of Montana State. As we see a little bit of rain starting to fall, which was not forecast for today, but remember, we're in Oregon in June, as we see the spectators starting to retreat up to the covered areas of the new stadium. Of course, the steeplechase, there's hardly notice. I mean, they do jump into the water 7 times on purpose.
Eugene, Oregon, the only place I've ever been where it's you can be in the sunshine and it can be raining on you.
And that's going to make it just a little bit cooler here with the breeze picking up ever so slightly. 28 total barriers, 7 water jumps in this 3000-meter steeplechase. So they are underway with 6 laps to go. We will step aside and return with more of this first semi-final heat in the steeplechase here at the NCAA Outdoor Championships. We're back in Eugene, Oregon. First semifinal heat of the 3000-meter steeplechase on Men's Day, Wednesday, semifinal day for the guys. And still, as it was from the beginning, Duncan Hamilton, the sophomore of Montana State, is leading this field. The first 5 finishers in this semifinal heat, and the second one will automatically qualify through to Friday's final. Then the next 2 fastest on time. 3 laps remaining.
While we've been seeing some real exceptional record-breaking runs by distance runners across the country, the steeplechase is one of those events that just hasn't had those exceptional times. Nobody's been under 8:30 this season. Ryan Smeaton, his PR goes back to 2019. He's gone 8:27. There you see him, the orange shorts. Real efficient hurdler. That's Jackson Messler on the outside for the Oregon Ducks. Local kid from Sheldon High School. His parents both were track and field athletes for the University of Oregon. His sister on the cross-country team. Got to be exciting for him to be running in this stadium in his own hometown in front of the home crowd. 2-time Oregon 6A champ.
In the all red, that's Bennett Pasco of Arkansas State, who's right there in the mix in 4th place currently. Smeaton into the lead for the first time with 2 laps remaining. But most of this 12-man field still very much in contention for those top 5 automatic qualifying positions. Hamilton starting to show a little fatigue from leading the race for more than half of the time. Now Keegan Chamati of Middle Tennessee moving into 2nd place, protecting his position.
Chamati had double duty at the Conference USA Championships, where he won the steeplechase, had to come back in the 5,000 meters where he was third there. As you see Messler creeping up on the outside. He has gone 8:36 this season.
As Parker Stokes of Georgetown now on the inside on the rail as they come up to the bell. He's put himself in contention now in third. Jackson Messler of Oregon, the crowd likes that.
What's interesting about the steeplechase, as well, as you begin to fatigue, you can't take your focus off of those hurdles. You catch a toe, you catch a heel, and down you go. Those hurdles do not move. But as tired as you are, you even have to have more focus every time you take off.
Pasco out there on the left, giving himself plenty of room to negotiate those barriers, and now sprinting almost into the lead as they come up for the final water jump. At least a little less than 150 meters remaining at this point. And the jockeying for the top 5 has begun. Chamati there, Pasco is there, Smeaton is there, as well as Stokes. Hamilton still hanging in there. And there's a lot of guys there trying to get those top 5 spots. It looks like Pasco is going to win the heat. Smeaton there, Chamati. Hamilton hung in there after putting out a lot of energy the first 5 laps. And Messler may have to wait to see what happens on time.
Because they didn't have a conference meet. You know, they're not in a conference, so they didn't have to compete, and so they're one less championship on their legs as they get into these championships, and that might be the difference here, as certainly as we get maybe into the men's 10,000 meters later tonight.
And you know what I like to always say about the BYU athletes when we're down here at sea level? They are drowning in oxygen, in that they live and train up in Provo, Utah, which is about a mile high. So a bit of an advantage for them to come down here to close to sea level. So just to remind you, the first 5 finishers in this second semifinal heat automatically qualifying to Friday's final. They know what the first heat ran. Right around 8:31 was the time for all of the automatic qualifiers. You've got to beat 8:32.95 if you were going to be outside the top 5. So they know that going in, a bit of an advantage for the later semifinal heats and all the events when they know what the times are that have been run in front of them.
This is Alexander Korzinski from Northeastern University out front. He's only run 8:44 this season. He looks like he's trying to establish a nice quick pace here to start us off.
That is Garrett Marsing of BYU that is right there, second. Along with Alec Baston of Minnesota, the Big Ten champ. It's early on here. We were expecting this kind of rain for Friday. It is forecast for the men's final to be raining. Maybe we just got the weather a little bit early. But this is making it awfully difficult for a lot of the field event athletes, where it's rather dangerous to be competing in the rain. You see the shot put circles filling up with rain. The high jump aprons where the decathletes are contesting that part of their event is also starting to get very wet.
Only a handful of spectators were able to get under the cover of the old Hayward Field, so a number of these spectators, I'm sure, are real happy about this new design. But as soon as that rain really kicked in, you could hear it thundering down on the overhang. So you knew how hard it was raining.
We are up at the highest point that you can be in the stadium. So but a lot of the spectators retreating up closer to us now. So with a little less than 6 laps remaining, we are going to step aside and pick up the end of this semifinal heat. You are watching a rainy first day of the NCAA Track and Field Championships. Back in rainy Eugene, Oregon, which is a tautology. Second semifinal heat of the men's steeplechase. Less than 3 laps remaining, and the field very tightly bunched. Looking for the top 5 finishers to automatically qualify through to Friday's final. And the next 2 fastest time. Pretty much everybody but 1 athlete, the 11 out of 12 athletes, very much in contention for those 5 automatic qualifying positions. If you aren't going to make it in there, by time, you better run faster than 8:32.95 to make it through. That was the bubble time from semifinal heat number 1. Alexander Korshinsky, the junior from Northeastern, continuing to lead as he has from pretty much the beginning. Remy Shins of Butler, the Belgian athlete for the Butler Bulldogs, is right in there as well in second place. And Albert Koske, the senior from Louisville and Kenya, of course, also right in the mix. 2 laps remaining now.
Well, and when you think about these synthetic surfaces, the only thing that can really affect these athletes, because you got spikes in your shoes and you can run in a straight line, but it's when you leave the ground and your heel touches on these rubberized surfaces that really cause some carnage. And I think probably no place is it more evident than in the water jump. These athletes step on that barrier to push themselves off, propel themselves over the water. They want to take one step in the water and out they go. And the water jump has been a very precarious place in this second heat.
That's Derek Johnson, the sophomore from Virginia, who has now taken the lead and started to push the pace. Korshinsky now back in 5th place. He was running well ahead of his personal best pace through most of this race, but still hanging in there in 5th place. That's the magic number. You want to be in the top 5 to book your ticket to Friday's final.
Well, the lap before this one, Alec Bastian from Minnesota, he tripped coming out of the water jump, put 2 hands inside of the rail as we go to 1 lap to go, but he's now worked his way up towards the front.
So it continues to be Johnson of Virginia, 4th at the conference, ACC Steeplechase, just about a month ago. Looking full of run, to be honest. And Korshinsky is now racing himself into 3rd. So he's saved his best performance for right here in this semifinal to try to get through to the final. Looking to retake the lead right up there with the leader Johnson as they go over the water jump for the final time. And had trouble getting out of there. And it's Korshinsky that had trouble negotiating that water jump. That's a shame. Derek Johnson still leading. And it is Bastian of Minnesota, Marsing of BYU, and those are an easily discernible 5 people across the line first, so they will automatically qualify for Friday's final. That's Kai Robinson of Stanford, the freshman. And Korshinsky just had such bad luck. Very tired, obviously. He just had to negotiate the water jump for the last time. So Virginia gets the first steeplechase finalist since 2013. Well, let's take a look at a few of those spills. Korshinsky, what a shame. He led most of the race, dropped back, then was rallying to get into the top 5. There he is early on, but there you can see outside the yellow line or inside the yellow line, that might be a problem. Didn't see a yellow flag, so he might have dodged a bullet there, but you saw Korshinsky got a little bit twisted there on that last water jump.
And it's tough to get good push-off here as you see Kai Robinson from Stanford bring it home. But you get on that water jump barrier and you've got to get a really great push-off. And with it wet like this, if you don't get your spikes on it, you are in trouble. We saw 3 different guys go down in that heat. There's Alec Bastian. He was one of those guys that came back. And yeah, you're right, Alexander Korshinsky, he was making a run at it. But when you go to your kick, you change your stride pattern a little bit, and everything changes as you go in to that final barrier.
So here are the results of that second heat. It was slower than heat number 1, so you'll get your time qualifiers for the first semifinal heat. But the top 4 that you see there, they will be in Friday's final, led by Kai Robinson, the freshman from Stanford. And bad luck for Alexander Korshinsky, who took a spill in that final water jump. Here are your advancers to finals. It will be a 12-man final on Friday, where the weather is forecast to be much as we are.